an organism that does not kill its victim. Killing would be too simple. Instead, it takes control. It marches the living host to a precise spot, forces it to lock itself in place, and then, while the host is still alive, it begins to grow out of its body. It inspired one of the most famous horror stories of our time. But the real version is not fiction. It is happening right now in forests all over the world. These are nature's mind controllers, and the way they work should not be possible. Across the natural world, certain parasites have evolved a power far more disturbing than venom or claws. They can rewrite the behavior of another living creature to turning it into a puppet that serves the parasite's needs, often at the cost of its own life. They hijack brains. They override instincts. They turn animals into weapons against themselves. And we are counting down to the most infamous of them all. One that may not stop at insects. Number 10, the hairworm. This long, thin worm begins its life inside a land insect, like a cricket or a grasshopper, quietly growing within its body, feeding on it from the inside. But the hairworm needs water to reproduce, and its host lives on dry land. So it solves this problem in a horrifying way. When it is ready, it releases chemicals that hijack the insect's brain and drives it to do the one thing it would never normally do: seek out water and jump in. The cricket drowns itself, and from the corpse, the worm emerges into the water, free. A parasite that convinces its host to commit suicide, on command. Number 9, the Lancet liver fluke. This tiny parasite needs to get from an ant into the stomach of a grazing animal, like a cow or a sheep. The problem is that cows do not eat ants, so the fluke takes control. It invades the ant's brain and changes its behavior completely. Every evening, the infected ant leaves its colony, climbs to the very top of a blade of grass, clamps its jaws shut, and simply waits in the perfect position to be eaten. If it survives the night, it climbs back down by day and returns again the next evening, over and over until a grazing animal finally swallows it. A mind rewired for the sole purpose of being eaten. Number 8, the fish brain fluke. This parasite has a similar goal but a different target. It needs to move from a small fish into the body of a bird, so it does something remarkable. It attaches itself directly onto the brain of its fish host. From there, it changes the fish's behavior. Instead of hiding in the safety of deeper water, the infected fish begins to swim near the surface, flashing and shimmying, drawing as much attention to itself as possible. Studies have found that infected fish are many times more likely to be caught and eaten by birds than healthy ones. The parasite is, in effect, ringing a dinner bell, using the body of its own host. Number 7, the green-banded broodsac. This parasite is the stuff of nightmares, and it works through the eyes. It infects a snail, then crawls into its eye stalks, swelling them up into thick, pulsating, brightly colored bands that throb and twitch, looking exactly like a fat, wriggling caterpillar. To a hungry bird, those eye stalks look like an irresistible meal, and the parasite does not stop there. It also drives the normally shy snail out into open, well-lit places, where birds can easily spot it. The bird eats the eye stalks, the parasite gets into the bird, and the cycle continues. It turns a snail's own eyes into glowing, throbbing bait. Number 6, Sacculina. This is a parasite that hides as a barnacle, and it commits one of the most complete takeovers in all of nature. It infects a crab, spreading root-like tendrils throughout its entire body, even into its brain. Once in control, it makes the crab stop growing its own shell and stop reproducing entirely. Then comes the truly disturbing part. The crab begins to care for the parasite's egg sac as if it were its own babies, grooming it, protecting it, and releasing its young into the water. It even forces male crabs to behave like females, to better serve the parasite. It does not just control the crab's actions, it rewrites what the crab believes it is. Number 5, the parasitic wasp. A wasp lays its eggs inside a living caterpillar. The larvae grow within it, feeding on its body from the inside, and then chew their way out through its skin to form cocoons on a nearby branch. You would expect the caterpillar to die or to crawl away. Instead, something far stranger happens. The half-eaten caterpillar stays alive, stops feeding itself entirely, and becomes a loyal bodyguard. It stands over the wasp cocoons and violently thrashes and lashes out at any predator that comes near, protecting the very creatures that devoured it from the inside until it finally starves to death, forced to guard its own killers with its dying strength. Number 4, the jewel wasp. A cockroach is far larger than this small, beautiful wasp and impossible to simply drag away. So the jewel wasp performs what can only be described as surgery. It stings the cockroach twice. The first sting briefly stuns its front legs. The second is the masterpiece. The wasp inserts its stinger directly into a precise location inside the cockroach's brain and injects a venom that removes its will to flee. The cockroach is not paralyzed. It can still walk. It has simply lost the desire to escape. The wasp then grabs it by the antenna and calmly leads it like a dog on a leash into a burrow, where it lays an egg on the still-living, fully aware cockroach to be eaten alive. A creature that performs brain surgery to create the perfect, willing victim. Number 3, Toxoplasma. This microscopic parasite can only reproduce inside one animal, a cat. But it often finds itself trapped inside a mouse, so it has evolved a chilling solution. It rewires the mouse's brain to erase its most basic survival instinct, its fear of cats. An infected mouse loses its terror of cat scent. Some are even drawn toward it, walking calmly to their own deaths, delivering the parasite exactly where it needs to go. And here is the unsettling part. This parasite does not only infect mice. It is estimated that a large portion of all humans on Earth carry it too, and scientists are still studying what subtle effects it may have on us. A parasite that deletes fear itself, and it may already be inside you. Number 2, rabies. Most of this list lives in the world of insects and tiny creatures. This one does not. Rabies is a virus, and it is a master manipulator of the mind, capable of taking over animals as large as dogs, wolves, and even humans. Once it reaches the brain, rabies changes its host's behavior to spread itself. It drives the infected animal into a state of aggression and rage, compelling it to bite. At the same time, it floods the mouth with infected saliva, the exact fluid it needs to pass into its next victim. In other words, the virus turns its host into a weapon designed for one purpose: to bite and infect. And once the symptoms truly begin, rabies is almost always fatal. A mind controller that does not stop at insects, it can reach us. And number 1, the organism we began with, the real-life zombie maker, the Cordyceps fungus. When its spores land on an ant, the fungus grows inside its body and seizes control not of its brain, but of its very muscles, like a puppeteer pulling strings directly. It forces the ant to abandon its colony, climb to a precise height on a plant, and then bite down with its jaws in a final death grip, locking itself permanently in place. There, the ant dies. And from the back of its head, a long stalk of fungus erupts, raining spores down onto the forest floor below to infect the next generation of ants. This fungus is so effective and so famous that it inspired a hit video game and television series about a fungal apocalypse. There are hundreds of these fungi, each evolved to control a specific kind of insect. And while no cordyceps can control a human today, the only reason is our body temperature, which raises a question scientists genuinely consider. What happens if the world simply gets a little warmer? Nature does not always kill its victims. Sometimes it does something far worse. It takes the wheel and drives them to their own destruction. These parasites prove that the line between a living creature and a puppet is far thinner than we would ever like to believe. But the most terrifying monsters in history were not small, and they did not hide. Long ago, the oceans were ruled by giant predators so powerful they make today's sharks look harmless.